I was involved in an interesting conversation today. First, I'm going to say that I was going to go live, but I guess now I can't go live because I don't meet the standards, the new standards, all the changes that are happening with YouTube now. I guess I have to do a webcam, and I'm not going to do all that. I mean, I could, but I'm just not going to do all that. But it was a conversation that kind of segue into abortion. So here, and I don't know if I already probably did make a video about this. I'm not sure, but here's my thing on abortions. Um, though that I agree with the pro-choice law, doesn't I don't agree with it even having to be necessary, or agreeing with that being such a readily available option. Why I say that is because I feel that a lot of people use that as a scapegoat to being responsible on the front end, and just on the back end, and just, I guess, being responsible in general for their actions, a person's actions. Um, I do believe that it should be. I keep looking away because this light is killing me, but I believe that it should be something that is there for people who, there may be something wrong with the baby. When it's growing, there's probably some abnormalities, rape, incest, things of that nature. But I know personally women that have gone not one time, not two times, not three times, not four times, not five times, not six times, but seven times to the abortion clinic within a 10-year period. Okay. Um, and I feel that how the laws are set up, and just the general way that society is going in this country, is to where, no one has to stand in their own shit, take responsibility for their actions, or take responsibility for their thoughts, or how they look, or whatever, I mean, how their life is, or where their life path is going, or whatever. It's always, uh, you know, uh, trigger and shaming and all this other stuff, and, people having to be accepting of all this stuff. So, but, like I said, I personally feel like it's a scapegoat for responsibility, because you know what? You know, just like I have to be responsible. If I ended up right now, my old age, laying up, and then ended up uh, getting pregnant, well, I have to lay in that shit. Okay, no different than these most women, you know. And like I said, we can just take out the ones where it was, you wore condom busted, or you did something preventative on the front end, or if it was rape or something like that. I'm not talking about none of that. I'm talking about when you knew when you laid down was no condom, you're not on birth control, and you just was like, fuck it, I want this dick. Okay. Or whatever. I'll just, whatever. I just want to feel that. I'm in the moment, you know, uh, you know. And I also understand that, I'd rather somebody, a woman, have an abortion than have some, some child that she doesn't want. Okay. Or, mistreats, or having environments that are not conducive to raising children. Some people out here shouldn't be parents. Don't get me wrong. Um, but I don't believe that still does not take away the fact that you should have been responsible on the front end. Okay. I had my oldest at a very young age, and I understand the whole concept now of how hard it is to, financially, to even, raise a child. And then, you have to feed them and all that stuff, and rent. And then you have college payments, to Navy, and you got to pay back, and, and all this other stuff. But people before you did it. Like, even for me, like, I had I had nobody, like, nobody, not one of those, oh, well, I have a mom, but I don't talk to that person, or I have family, but we're estranged, and, or, we out on the outs. No, nobody. Had a baby, dealt with that shit. And it was hard because I had nobody. I had no resources. So if everything fell on me. Like, you know, I had to make, it was nobody's couch I can lay on. It was nobody that to help me. Okay, it was hard. I was young. I hadn't finished college. You know, I didn't have any job skills. I was in college, but I didn't have any skills, and I didn't have money. I didn't have people to help me. I didn't have a mother to help me, or father, or auntie, uncle, to help watch the baby, things like that. I did, to a certain degree, have the father um, in the picture, but outside of that, it was nothing. So that's, to me, that's no excuse. Because, and I'm not saying, oh, well, I can do it, you should be able to do it. I'm just saying, like, own your shit. I wasn't, I mean, uh, you know, it was hard, but I feel like that's the bed I laid in. I mean, that's the bed I made. It's, I need to lay in it. And I think that's how society is right now. It's moving into a realm of, people don't have to be responsible for their actions, or, it's to me, a baby at 3 weeks, when a heartbeat, it's a living entity. It's like trees are living entities, and bugs. It's a living entity, regardless of what degree or stage of humanoid it is, right? It don't matter. I don't care. It doesn't. So that's something I just wanted to come over here and clear up. Like, people like, oh, you're anti-abortion. I'm not, because I would rather some of you go and swallow, or more, or abort, than be beating on your kids, or have these kids out here that, I have to have my children go to school with, and y'all half-ass raising your children, or you let the streets raise your children, you let the music videos, and the twerking, and the cussing, and the gangster mumble rap shit, and they coming to school with that bullshit, and, or your obsessiveness with labels and shit like that, and then you raise your kids like that, and then my children have to go to school with your children, and and I raised my children a little bit differently, than a lot of you. And so, yeah, I would rather that you swallow more, but I just feel like a lot of women are using an abortion as a condom, and it also desensitizes a woman, as as far as, that's a life. So it's desensitizing, a little bit. For, if you could just sit up and have 5, 6 abortions, you, like, I would be like, I would feel so bad about if I had to have one, because that is an entity, and some of y'all that go up in these abortion clinics talking about, yeah, it's my choice, this and that and other, will probably have a fit if I did something to a dog, or, if you seen something wrong, somebody doing something wrong to a dog, or some type of animal. But y'all sit up and go to an abortion clinic, like, that's a living thing. That's a living creature, just like your little dogs, and your little animals that you like, or you're vegan, and or PETA type people, or whatever, So you can, and it's kind of like hypocritical too when you're like that, like you're those type of people that are like, oh, eating animals is wrong. They're living creatures and stuff like that. Yet you go take your ass to the abortion clinic. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to say about that. I just feel like I am pro-choice as it relates to the fact that yeah, I don't want nobody's, you know, the kids are really, something that I think not everybody should have uh, a license to do. And I'm pretty sure if we get going the way we're going, I'm pretty sure it's going to be something in the future where you'd have to have a special license to even breed. But until then, yes, I do agree about pro-choice in the fact of I would rather you abort a baby than the baby be mistreated. And as far as these anti um, abortionists, um, I I don't agree with them as far as their talking points, as far as why. They either want to bring religion in and things like that, but half of them don't even care about kids either. Half of them molesting on people's kids, they kids, other people's kids. They're putting them in all types of negative environments. Some of them ain't got their damn kids. None of them, the majority of them that have this particular stance on abortions about what another person do with their vagina. They're not foster parents. They didn't adopt no children. Okay. Uh, and hate to pay taxes, to schools in their neighborhood, because they feel like, or anything else that will help out in some way a family that has children or what have you. They complain about that shit. So it's like if you're not, I think that if you're not in social services dealing with like child protection, or if you're not a foster parent, or adopting children, uh you shouldn't have an opinion. um uh, being a religious person, that still doesn't mean anything, and that doesn't account for anything, because you can be talking about God this and just and will do deviant things to other people's children, or think of a certain color, because of that child's a certain color, that their life is lesser than yours. Okay, or let's not go there. So anyway, that's my thoughts.